What's up, folks? We're back again. It's just Tim and Fogman, maybe Dula. Josh, he has to go to the Giants camp. I think Tim has more information. Josh had an emergency to run to right now. But you know what, guys? Let's go. Take it over.
Yeah, Josh is doing some wide receiver, helping do some wide receiver routes with Shepard, um Odell Beckham Jr. and the other guy they just signed. So he's out there trying to show him some good routes to run and go over the playbook. Go Josh. All right, Frogman. Should the NFL players worry about the NFL, the lack of the big contracts these teams are giving the players? Like we still have Dontari Poe out there. Dontari Poe was supposed to be like a top 5 player in the free agency come. This is the second week. Okay, we still got Adrian Peterson out there. We still have good quality guys out there, and we're seeing like 1-year contracts. Alshon Jeffrey for Terrell Pryor. We seen 1-year contracts. This is like wow. Should they be worried about this going forward?
I think this has a lot to do with the free agent class that's out now.
Okay.
The guys that you're mentioning, there's certain levels of uncertainty with Alshon Jeffrey, with Terrell Pryor. So I can understand the 1-year contracts. Guys like Dontari Poe, or guys that are like in that age of 29 to 32 that are coming that are at the tail end of their prime or coming out of their prime. Yeah, I think there is reason to worry because the owners are more financially savvy now. They have much more money at their disposal due to the new CBA. And they're going to try to use it in a wiser manner. And I think the precedent was set by New England and Seattle. You look at in the last 5 years, the two teams that have dominated the most are the teams that have done themselves good through the draft. And those are the Seahawks and the Patriots. So I think there's a turn to I don't want to say that it's like a new thing because it should have been something, but it's like a light bulb went on and said, hey, we need to start building up and saving money for the guys, the free agents that are going to be that big splash player, that guy that, oh man, I could get this guy for 2 or 3 years. And worst case scenario, I get him for a year or two, but I could still put him under the franchise tag. So I think these guys should be worried. And going into the CBA, I think that franchising, being able to franchise a player 2 times is something that the NFL players should fight for not to happen. Because I think so long as that continues to happen, you're going to have more and more of what we saw this year in free agency occurring. Now you're going to have your stragglers. Adrian Peterson is going to get his money. I'm telling you that right now. He's going to get his money. Why? He's a commodity.
Right.
He's the one that's holding the cards. But someone like Latavius Murray, who hasn't been signed yet, yeah, players like those guys that are fringe players may or may not be. Yeah, they got to worry. And unfortunately, the NFL is full of players like that.
You know what? And to add on to that, Fog, it's interesting how you came out and said about saving money to make the big splash, because also, just like you said, it could be something where, this class wasn't that special. And the draft is great on defense. How about look at next year's class? I'm gonna give you a couple of names. You got Drew Brees coming out next year, free agent. You got Sam Bradford, Matthew Stafford, Jason Pierre-Paul. Okay, you got Melvin Ingram, of course, with the franchise tag. You got Larry Fitzgerald, Alshon Jeffrey again, Vontae Davis, Thomas Davis from the Carolina Panthers. Okay, Jonathan Stewart, the Seattle Seahawks. These are some interesting names. Vontae Burfict for the Bengals. That's a bigger and better class, in my opinion, than this year. And another thing also is like, okay, why am I gonna pay like Dontari Poe his $60 million where I can get a guy in the NFL draft a whole lot cheaper, have him for another 4 years. So, in my opinion, these guys gotta watch it if you're looking for the big payday. Sometimes now it's like, how much? I want 100 mil. What is that? 100 mil? No. How about this? You're gonna get 10 mil, and you're gonna get that $10 million and sign that contract because you can't expect that big payday. And I was like, wow. But next year's class is much better.
Well, next year's free agency class is going to be much better, and the draft class is going to be much better, right, especially in some of the higher profile positions like quarterback. So, I think this year should the players be worried? I think those guys like your Latavius Murrays, who are, and Dontari Poe's, who are either fringe players or guys that are coming out of their prime or at the tail end of their prime. Yeah, you got to worry. Because it seems like, again, the league is just smartening up, The league is just smartening up on how they're going to spend that money through free agency and the way they're going to develop, like I said, through the draft, being that Seattle and New England have been so successful at doing it over the course of the last 5 years. Well, New England over the course of the last decade and a half.
Right.
But yeah, I think next year you'll see more spending because of the names that you just mentioned coming out in free agency. Dilla, what you got?
Wait, I missed the topic, bro.
You came late to the party.
Basically, should the current NFL players need to worry about the lack of big money contracts like this offseason?
No, not really. The thing about it is, eventually you do hit a point where you kind of flatten out, sort of. For example, I don't think we're gonna see a $200 million player unless the salary cap goes up, right, exponentially. I think what's going to happen in this NFL is that there's so many specialist type positions, right? There's so many, when guys sign a defensive end, you're not signing. Sometimes you're not signing a all-around defensive end. Sometimes you're just signing a guy who's a pass rusher. If you're signing these running backs, you may not sign him to carry the ball 20, 25 times, but he's going to be your pass catcher. He'll be there on third down. So because of specialization, I think there will still be room for, these larger contracts. I think teams are going to start to get a little more judicious as to who they're giving the money to. Because what we're seeing is that the last thing you want to do is assess yourself and say, okay, we're 2 players away. Go pay those 2 players handsomely. And then it turns out you're not 2 players away. Turns out your whole roster away. Cough, cough, Jacksonville. And, you kind of get in this rut of, being bad. So now, I don't think big money contracts are going anywhere. I think teams are going to get smarter as to who they give it to. I hope that they get smarter as to who they give it to. We'll say that.
Jacksonville on my list. Check. Yeah, but listen, you know what? And the ones who are watching, the one thing I can't wait for is Dilla mock draft coming up in April. And every time he does a mock draft, his prediction is always 85, going towards 90% accurate. And the last time we had the show, the NFL draft show, a couple of Giant fans was not too happy with their pick, but that's what I can't wait for. We can't wait for that, Dilla.
Well, listen, they should be happy now. Eli Apple had a great season. For whatever, for the amount of time he played, he had a good season. Better than Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah, he sort of. He sort of did. He sort of did, but that's the one thing we can't wait because we're gonna wait. This draft class coming out is so loaded with defense. My God, it makes you not even want to sign nobody this offseason.
Plus
between
you're gonna have
what me and Fogman was talking about with the defensive player.
Yeah, plus you're gonna have some guys who start to rise. After that, after the combine says a lot about a player. The guy out of Connecticut, what's his name? That safety made himself a lot of money, and
Obi Manafoa.
Yeah, he may turn out just to be a workout warrior and not a good football player. That very well could happen, but darn it, he made himself some money. My guy Hassan Reddick made himself some money.
Yes.
Solomon Thomas made him some money. They're about 5. Actually, Jabril Peppers probably made him some money.
Yeah.
In those drills showing that he could play the deep middle, which was team's big concern. But yeah, no, it's always interesting forecasting where these guys go. You never know. Some of these teams are unpredictable, man. And like remember last year's draft? Everyone was certain that Laramie Tunsil was going to go that top 3 to 5. He started sliding, and he started seeing some really weird things happen. Jack Conklin, Tennessee, even him falling. The Giants were sitting there. They go Eli Apple. It's just kind of like, gee, I wonder what it's going to be this year. And I also wonder, and this could be a topic for another time, there's always a team that reaches for a player, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's always that team in the top 10 who's going to reach. I wonder who's going to reach this year and get someone who was probably a low first, early second rounder and take him in the top 10. Leonard Floyd had that happen to him last year. He went. Mm-hmm. He had a good season, but he went higher than he was supposed to go.
Oh, that was the guy, the linebacker to the Bears.
Oh yeah, Leonard Floyd. Yeah. And he didn't have a bad season. I think he had 7 sacks for a rookie. Not a bad season, but no one up until the week before that draft saw him going in the top 10. I think he was like 6'6", 245. So it's like, wait, you're gonna play him at linebacker? He's 245. Like he's gonna get killed out there. But it looks like he's figured it out. So I just wonder who's gonna reach and who is it gonna be.
I know the one thing I won't do for the NFL draft is I'm not gonna wish that somebody has a clock issue and misses out of their pick, because I remember when the Eagles were at number 2 for Carson Wentz, we know they wanted Carson Wentz, and I'm telling myself the clock is going 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I said I hope they just mess up the clock and they can't take Wentz and they lose the pick. All of a sudden, you had Jerry Jones with the 4th pick overall, the same thing. I'm like, Jerry, the clock, wake up, Jerry, the clock. So, which was a very funny moment, but that's the one thing about the NFL. We can't wait, and I can't wait for Dallas predictions to see, and then we're gonna make our own predictions, and basically show where these guys may land. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm going to be interested to see what some of these teams that are like, I guess, at the midway point in the draft, as far as where their record was, and like Bill was saying, teams that feel, hell, man, I may be 1 or 2 players to put myself in a position to win. What these teams are actually going to do and how they're going to approach the draft and addressing some of the issues. I was reading, and I think some of the issues that some of these teams quote unquote supposedly have may not wind up being issues at all, and if they try to address those in this draft, they could actually set themselves back,
right?
i.e. Oakland right now.
Listen, I want to see is Jerry Jones going to go after that War Daddy? He made that name War Daddy. Would there be a War Daddy get passed? I want to know if would the Browns trade one of their first-round picks to the Patriots for Jimmy Garoppolo, or would the Redskins trade Kirk Cousins and move up with the 49ers pick for that number 2 overall pick?
That will not happen. I can assure you now that will not happen. Kyle Shanahan knows that Kirk Cousins will be available next season. This team is not. He's got to build this team now. So
Right.
My expectation is that San Francisco builds this team in a similar fashion to what we've seen Hugh Jackson doing in Cleveland. And that's build it from the inside out. You got a very good running back in Carlos Hyde there.
Right.
So I think realistically, giving up that second pick for Cousins would be a complete waste of time, because all you're going to do is take Cousins from one situation, bring him to another situation, and you're going to make it worse. And we don't know what Cousins can do in a worse situation. He's actually been fortunate enough to be in situations that in Washington the last 2 seasons where he's had good receivers to throw to, good core of players on the offensive side around him, and pretty decent coaching. So you send them to San Francisco now. Oh man.
Well, okay, so while we're talking about San Francisco, they're sitting there at number 2. Let's assume, and this isn't a crazy assumption, let's assume Myles Garrett does go 1. I don't think that's crazy, right? I think that's a pretty astute thing to say. He'll go 1.
Definitely.
The 49ers are sitting there at 2. Now, Jonathan Allen is considered the safest prospect in this draft. You know, his ceiling may not be as high as Garrett, but his floor is higher. Like, you know what you're going to get from him. At 2, do you take him considering how you have already DeForest Buckner and Arik Armstead? So do you take another guy who's kind of a similar player? Or do you go after a quarterback?
Well,
do you think Mitch Trubisky's that good?
Della, you're giving them too much, Della. You're giving them the preview to see. This is why Della's mock draft is so good, because look at that.
Or wait a second. Or do they go out of left field? Or they go out of left field and take Jamal Adams?
I say I'm going to say Cam Robinson.
Yeah, they can do that.
I'm going to say Cam Robinson. Why go Trubisky again? I don't think, even though there's a lot of people that are putting Trubisky high on the draft list, I think Trubisky winds up in Chicago.
At 3.
I think it's a failed shot, but I don't. They need offensive line help. Why not go Cam Robinson?
Yeah, listen, it's a smart. Listen, your first round pick should always be a smart pick and not reach and stuff like that. But with the number 2 overall pick,
I think Cam Robinson would be considered a reach. Dullah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Cam Robinson might be number 2.
Cam Robinson at 2 would be a colossal. It'd be a colossal reach. Okay,
so here's the thing, though. Now, quarterback, they got 2 quarterbacks. They could always draft a quarterback in the second round. It maybe like Della said, Jamal Adams. Why they have a safety in Reed? Reed's their free safety. Am I correct? And you got Jamal Adams who could be their strong safety, right? So that could be definitely a move. That's to me. I can't think of any other move. What other unless they get a quarterback, unless they do get Trubisky, because everybody's fully in love with Trubisky, and Cal Shanahan is a quarterback guy. He's gonna want somebody that he can groom. I mean, but listen, it's a lot of great questions. This is why I cannot wait for the mock draft. It's a lot of great questions, and we're gonna when that day comes, we're gonna what do we all say? And bam, you may see 49ers may drop back in the draft and get more picks, because that's what good teams should do. Maybe Cleveland Browns may say, you know what, we're gonna drop back and get more picks. We won't take Myles Garrett. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't see that. Listen, if there's a surefire guy in this draft, it's Garrett.
Yeah.
I can see San Francisco trading back. I'm sorry, I don't see San Francisco. I think San Francisco taking a quarterback in this draft, setting themselves back.
Nah, listen, you know what, Fogg? I agree with you. I think they should go after a player. But see, at number 2, any player like you mentioned can help them, but like Della was saying, it also could be a reach. So do you drop back a couple of spots to see if you get these guys?
I mean, it could be a reach, but I've always I've hated this concept of getting the best player available. So it's why I used to hate Andy Reid so much when he would draft. I believe you draft the best player available for what your need is. And San Francisco needs an offensive lineman.
Right.
Yeah, there's a couple of that kid from Florida State, I think Roderick or whatever his name is. Maybe you get him.
There's Roderick Johnson. There's Ryan, whatever. I forgot his last name, from Wisconsin.
The kid from Notre Dame. Oh yeah, Wisconsin too. Yeah, I forgot him.
Ramzik.
There's other guys.
Skipper.
I can see that. I liked Cam Robinson and what I saw from him. So I'm like, oh, maybe you grab him. But I think if you're going to stay in that spot, you get something that you need and address it. And while they may need a quarterback, if you want to get a quarterback in the draft, next year's draft is actually looking a hell of a lot better at the quarterback position than this year's draft is. So, and you've got not just next year's draft, but then you've got Kirk Cousins on top of that, who you're going to be able to get. You know him.
That's
you
true.
Were there in Washington.
That's true.
You get Brian Hoyer, and again, he's a transitional quarterback. This is a guy that, okay, we'll have this guy hold the fort. Maybe we win 2, 3, possibly 4 games. We still wind up more than likely in the first 3 picks of the draft.
Right.
I'm not saying they're deliberately tanking, but I mean, call it what it is, and just build that team so that when you get that quarterback that you want, whether it's through the draft or via free agency, you've got something there to actually protect him with, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side of the ball as well.
I agree. Sean? Hey, Sean, you all right?
He fell asleep. He got mad. We were talking about San Francisco.
No. I thought Sean was eating a TV dinner with Eddie Lacy.
Look.
Huh?
Sean, is Eddie Lacy the answer?
Look, Pete Carroll came out saying, "Look, I like him big." I'm like, is Pete Carroll the witch trying to, feed, Lacy like Hansel and Gretel? I mean, what do you want to cook him?
Look, listen. Seattle.
It's gonna work.
Look, Seattle does have problems at offensive line. If this running back thing doesn't work out, he could be a guard.
You have to eat that little piece of bread, that one slice of bread, boom. But you know what?
They got good. They have good Chinese spots out there in Seattle.
Look, we got him in cheap. He said he'll work for pizza. So,
you know what? We could save the Lacy in Seattle for next week because I really think it's gonna work out. I really think it's gonna work out. Motivation.
Yeah, this coming from the same guy that said Tony Romo to Jacksonville makes him an automatic contender.
Oh, they are. Without a doubt. Do it in Madden. You trade Romo to Jacksonville in Madden? Fire. I'm telling you right now. Fire.
Wait. I think what Tim meant was if Tony Romo goes to Jacksonville, they're probably a contender to finish 4th in their division again.
No, they'll be the second best team in the AFC. And I say that with a straight face.
NFC East, you said?
In the AFC, I'm sorry, AFC, excuse me. In the AFC West.
South.
AFC South, excuse me. AFC South.
You can't even get the lie straight.
Nah.
You can't even lie to this straight. Yeah, Tony Romo's going to take him to the Super Bowl in the NFC. No, AFC.
Tony Romo will be the second best quarterback in the whole AFC. He will. And listen, Andrew Luck is he still hasn't been that guy the NFL wanted to be. I like David Carr. I really like David Carr. I don't like the Grillo system.
Derek Carr.
I really don't like it. I don't. Let me see.
I think you meant Derek Carr because I don't think anyone liked David Carr.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Derek Carr. Excuse me, Derek Carr. I don't like the coach's system. It's not good for him.
It sounds like you said.
And that's it. That's all you have. And then you got Seaman over there.
Samian.
I mean,
Paxton Lynch is taking that job.
Tim, you forgot about Tyrod Taylor.
Well, here's the thing. Hobbs Ellis, I know he's got 2 minute warning, brother. I know he's watching the show and everything. Hobbs, here's the thing. I
Third place.
believe in surrounding Tyrod Taylor. I believe in him. But when you guys still got Sammy Watkins there and Andre Holmes as your number 2 receiver, that's not really convincing yet. So I can't put Tyrod Taylor there yet. You know what?
Sammy Watkins got one leg on the field and one leg off, so you don't know if he's really.
Listen, you know what's so crazy? Do you know what's so crazy? The Cleveland Browns got the 3rd best quarterback in the AFC, the 4th best quarterback in the AFC, and that's Brock Osweiler, and that's bad. He's probably the 4th best quarterback in the AFC.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on, wait a second. Wait a minute.
The only thing he finished 4th in statistically was interceptions.
But if you name, yes, go ahead.
Tim. Don't start another subject where we go on for another 10 minutes.
No.
I'm gonna end this really quick. I'm gonna end this really quickly.
Go ahead, though.
Rivers is better. Alex,
I apologize.
Is better.
You're right. I'm sorry. Thank you, Della. Thank you. I forgot Rivers.
Shout to the LA Chargers.
So
Ryan Tannehill is better.
Top 10.
Ryan Tannehill's better.
I don't know now.
He ain't even top 10.
I don't know about. You know what? I was a big Ryan Tannehill fan, but I'm not feeling no more.
He's still better than Brock Osweiler.
You know, Tim. Brock Osweiler made DeAndre Hopkins, who I still believe is a top 5 wide receiver in the league, absolutely irrelevant. He made him look like Brandon Marshall was made to look when Brandon Marshall was in Miami with Matt Moore, I think it was, throwing him the damn ball. Like, are you serious? Brock Osweiler.
So let me ask you a question.
In the AFC?
So fine, I want to ask you a question.
There's only 12 teams. 16 teams in the AFC. And he's still not top 10.
No, I want to ask you a question, though, Fog, and I want you to stay right there. Okay, so if Tony Romo was the quarterback of the Texans with Hopkins, how far do you think the Texans would go? I want you to be honest with yourself. Be honest.
I think they're a contender. I think they can make the AFC Championship game. Providing Broke Mo stays healthy, yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, if Tony Romo can.
Yeah, but we're not. You're happy about that, but we're not arguing that. Nobody on this show contended that at all. We contended your asinine statement about Jacksonville.
Oh, listen, I really do think if Jacksonville had traded for Tony Romo, it'll be a team to watch out. They are loaded.
Let me ask you. Wait, now hold on. Now hold on. Who's their head coach now? Isn't their head coach Doug Marrone?
Doug Marrone.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say about the Jaguars.
Here's the thing.
All right, let's Tim has the last word. We gotta wrap this up.
No. I'm just saying. I don't rank. Look, here's the thing. A change of scenery helps a lot of people. Helps the coaches, helps players. Sometimes you're under bad management. I like Tom Coughlin. I trust his football. I trust the fact that he's over there. I like the fact that Chip Kelly is playing offensive coordinator, not head coach. I like Doug Marrone the way he was in Buffalo. It wasn't him the problem. It was the brother who was the problem. So here's my thing: when you got when you have that team, what you see on paper, offense and defense, my God, it's loaded. But you need somebody to drive the ship. And Bortles is just, he has to wake up. But
it doesn't change overnight. A team that has been an under 500 team, that far below 500,
Denver,
for how long they've been, won't change overnight.
Denver with Peyton Manning?
They weren't that far under 500.
On that note, we got to close this show, guys, or we're going to just be talking forever. Thanks, guys, for showing up this Wednesday. We'll be back again next Wednesday. Is anything special going on, Tim?
Not next week. Just more football talk and leading up to the NFL draft.
Okay. Let me tell you what I hope doesn't happen. I hope we don't have another Ezekiel Elliott video. I don't want to see any more videos of the guy.
Me either.
Keep your hands to yourself. You hear me?
Just stay away, Zeke. Hey Zeke, go hop in that Salvation Army thing and just stay there until August. Right, stay there.
Love you, Zeke. Love you, Zeke.
Save some baby seals and some baby.
We'll get an Odell video next week.
Yeah, no videos as well. On that note, guys, staying strong. We'll be back again next week, and we out. Pew, 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 pew.
Peace.
Peace.